Are you feeling overwhelmed with Genshin? Like there's way too many things to do or way too little? Well, so have I. Welcome in, friends. My name is Jer, one half of the JenJerGaming duel, and today we're going to be talking about my experiences with Genshin and how I feel of the game as of to date. Playing it for about 2 years now. I started playing this game when it first was the Ayaka banner, and I haven't stopped since. So let me break it down really quick and how we got started with this whole Genshin thing. If you're with me so far and you like where this is going, give us a like, comment, subscribe to our channel. And with that being said, let's get right into it. We started playing Animal Crossing when we first started streaming on Twitch. After about a year into it, a lot of the Animal Crossing players were starting to transition into the Genshin community. And I'm not gonna lie, the first time I played this game, it was on release date, and I played for just about maybe 20 minutes. I stopped playing it, and then when I started seeing people play the game again, I was like, hey, you know, why not? And now I've been playing this game for about over 2 years now, and looking at it, it's 586 days. And if I equivalent that to an average of about maybe 3 hours, if I were streaming it, and also some casual play, it is about 1,758 hours. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Genshin. I play Genshin every day, whether it be 5 minutes up to an hour with events, but it had so many amazing similarities to the games that I love, whether it was Breath of the Wild, Final Fantasy series, Xenoblade. But this was the first time I've really played a gacha game. I never was a big fan of gacha. I am not a fan of microtransactions or DLCs. This was the first game I was really heavily invested in. I love the art, the music, the story, the lore, the voice acting. It was beautiful, and how this game has brought me together with so many friends. The community, at least the positive parts of it, were very bright, extremely encouraging as well. However, as there are just as many good things about a game, I would like to focus on 3 things about the game as a player and a content creator. I felt like this game started to get very repetitive with the daily grind. I felt lots of pressure to buy into characters and grinding for stats, and finally, how harmful the gacha system can really get for people. This video was inspired by 2 big videos from Erotic Walrus and Never Knows Best, and give those channels a follow. They're really awesome. And if you stick to the end of the video, I'm going to tell you 3 things that I need to do in order for me to enjoy the game to continue moving forward with Genshin. When I started playing this game, I wasn't aware about doing any sort of dailies, weeklies, or anything like that because, well, when you first start playing the game, it's not really a part of it. I got further in, I started doing them, and as I know I would get more primos anytime or basically every day that I would do the daily for. And I loved doing this for the first 6 months. I logged in for my Welkins, I started doing my dailies, I did my weeklies, I burned my resin, I got my artifacts, and I did my abyss. I felt super accomplished, very, very productive. I did this for a while now, and I still logged in for my Welkin, my dailies, my weeklies, my resin, and I did my abyss, and you kind of get the picture. Early on, the game was amazing. There were so many things that I could do with content, and I was just exploring the world. I was looking for Oculus all the way to talking to NPCs, doing the Archon quests. But as a streamer and as a player, I wanted to keep up so I could basically get a lot of the free weapons, the materials, the primos, and the limited time events. Those were brutal. The first 3 months, I was free to play. I grinded day and night because I heard one of the Archons, the Raiden Shogun, was going to be coming up, and I didn't even get a chance to explore Inazuma, so I had no materials for Raiden because I had so many other things to do in the game. But I kept doing the same things over and over and over again. Sure, I might change it up to do events, character stories, and those are parts of the game that I actually really like. I don't know about the hangouts. They can get very repetitive, but for the most part, those are the things that I like about the game. But it's the dailies, the weeklies, the burning of the resin, and finishing the abyss that really, really did take a toll. And when something to me feels like a chore, I think of it more of as an errand instead of something that I enjoy doing. Usually games show progression. You know, when you play games like Pokemon or you play an RPG game, yeah, sure, there is definitely grinding. But I felt like Genshin was negotiating with me. You know, they're just like, hey, you know, if you do these dailies, you'll get your primos. It'll be so worth your time. And I felt like I wasn't doing it for me. As I started becoming busier in my daily life, Genshin started becoming less of a priority for me. But I think it was a good way for me to move forward with my life and also with the game as well too. When you're streaming or even just a player of Genshin, you know, there's a high pressure to get characters that you might not want 100%. And I can name a few of them. I have Ito, Yoimiya, Venti, and there's definitely a few other characters as well that I definitely did not need in my lineup. Think about it like a toy or a video game that you really like. Maybe if you have a shoe or shirt that you just bought recently as well. But those things were very rare and the hype was really high. That's how it is when I pull on a good amount of these characters. Like, I feel like I need them, but at the end of the day, most of them are at the shelf, and 80% of those characters I don't really need. Especially early on, when I was starting to play this game, I felt like I needed to be a part of something special. So I rolled for characters that I ultimately did not need. And this is where Genshin really gets to me the most, is the emotional part of this game. You know, even though they are fictional, the values they bring to me are very relatable to my life. You truly get invested with these characters through the stories and what they bring to the table. There's really no wrong way to play this game, but the fear of missing a character that you think you might need is where I feel like it takes a toll on me. Also, as a former streamer, wishing had the biggest attraction for people coming onto our streams, and for anyone as well too. I'm sure everyone can relate. As a result, this is my mind telling me that it would be a great time to top up, even though I did not need to do this. Now, don't get me wrong, Genshin does a solid job about giving you primos. You know, you can get them through codes, events, treasure chests around the map. You can get them in a variety of different ways. But even with all the grinding, it still takes up a lot of time. And unfortunately, it can take a toll on people, including myself. And this is me buying the Welkin, the Battle Pass, and even some rare top-up occasions as well too. So the FOMO with Genshin is very, very strong, and a limited banner and not knowing when that character is ever going to be coming back kind of eats the gut sometimes. And I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way. It was hard, especially during the Abyss, you know, when the meta was going towards the character banner. I would usually want to make it easier. So I would basically, hey, this would make things easier for the Abyss. So I would usually wish for the character because it was related to the meta. But this led me to buy both the Welkin and the Battle Pass every single month. And also with the Gacha system, which we will talk about later, you get a chance to get them early. But if you hit hard pity, that's 80 to 90 pulls. And don't even get me started on the weapon banner. That can, if you go to hard pity, that's 270 pulls if you were very, very unlucky. People are going to want what they can't have, you know. It's literally an addiction to power. And I think that goes for anything in life. So we see other people buying characters, you know, they are going to want them too as well. Not gonna lie, I was on the same boat, you know, again, with that FOMO mentality. As I got into the second year of this game, I really had to take a step back, and I had to not care about what others got, and I had to focus on the game that I wanted to play. Last thing are the stats. I know how competitive people can be with this game, and how much damage they input into their character. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, people can play how they want. However, there is one thing I noticed, is that the negative criticism towards players and the strong criticism towards players on free-to-play and low-spending accounts, and basically being embarrassed when they don't have enough money or time to put their effort into the game, either gave them two choices. They can either, you know, spend way more time grinding and constantly getting materials and constantly trying to explore the entire map and get every single possible thing from the game, or they have to spend money on the game. And I felt like that was such a huge pressure on so many people that could not afford the game and were constantly ridiculed because of how bad their characters were. With bad RNG, how can people blame others for having bad stats when it requires them to utilize more resources when they don't have any? Gambling is not healthy, It's definitely not a healthy habit whatsoever. If I go to a casino in Vegas, I usually spend about $100, and that is usually my limit. As I mentioned before, this is my first game that has a gacha mechanic. And the closest thing I did was Overwatch, where they actually did gacha with skins, but they even took that down because they didn't want to promote gambling as a sort of way for people to get the skins. I also play Fortnite as well too, but that you actually know what skins you are actually buying, and you're not playing it all to chance. If you're a free-to-play Genshin player, you definitely grind your way to get primos and wish for characters you possibly want. However, if you are spending money, especially top-ups, it's $25 for a 10 pull. It's $25 for a 10 pull. Everyone always keeps associating 1600 primo gems. That's $25. That's like basically playing half of a AAA game. Because money is involved, this always just means more problems. And even though I didn't spend as much as like a whale, this is the most money I have ever spent on a video game, and it speaks a lot. So how can kids or people that don't have stable incomes afford to even play this game? Or they would have to spend a ton of time, probably even have to skip school to play this game. You might think you have early pity, and you might say, hey, I just got my character in about 20 pity. But when you really have to dive deep into this game, really dive deep, and you go to hard pity, it's just more grinding for more money, and it's just more grinding for materials and artifacts, which is also a never-ending thing. This is why when I saw Nintendo having Genshin, I was super excited, not gonna lie. But after 6 months down the road, I realized that I don't think they want to promote kids to gamble for characters. And I imagine kids constantly buying top-ups and using their parents' credit cards, it would be a disaster. So I don't think that's gonna fly. I am down for a portable system for Genshin, but for the sake of the children, promoting healthy spending habits, I think is a much better way to go. And finally, I feel like the community in many cases has led to so many people asking for other people to buy primos for them. Yelling obscene languages to them just for doing a giveaway and not getting it is extremely toxic. It's been very destructive, and even though this is just only a handful of small people and not most of the Genshin community, there were a lot of times I have witnessed hearing others asking for other people to buy primos just because they wanted a character, and it's a gambling addiction, and it needs to be addressed as well. So now that I've talked about my constructive criticisms on Genshin, what can I do to conclude? How can I play this game moving forward in a healthier fashion? I truly want to spend and simmer the game, whether it's spending 5 minutes up to 15 minutes, max an hour. I really want to spend time on this game instead of constantly grinding, because this was one of the things that I wish I took back and I listened to myself and to actually some of the community members as well too, is to really take your time with the game, because this game deserves a lot of credit and also consumed in a very slow manner. Do other things in your life, not just Genshin. Keeping myself busy or even doing something simply in my mental state for Genshin has been so much better for me. I was consumed by so much of the content from Genshin that my mind was literally a spiral abyss. And going outside, being healthy, exercising, finding new outlooks in life has been a refreshing take. Video games are still a big part of my life, but I can venture off to new games. I can also do new experiences, and that will make me happy overall. And playing the game how you want to play the game with healthy spending habits. I spent a good amount of the money on this game, and now I just want to take a toll back. I will be only spending $5 on the Welkins moving forward, but I want to play this game how I want to play it. So for me, I like to play the game through the story and the characters specifically, and the music. I listen to the music a lot, even when I need to have a calm day or just to even sleep at night. All the substats, artifact grinds, weapon banner, all that stuff are all long past me now. If you like to play the music, just go for it. If you like the characters, go for it. Damage, go for it. Just don't judge others because of how crappy their stats are or what characters they don't have in the game. All right, well, that's pretty much it. I know this is a long video, but I really wanted to take my time to talk and what was on my mind with Genshin. With 3.5 right now, it's kind of a little bit of a standstill. I hope this video was somewhat enlightening, and I hope it gives a lot of the people that are just starting Genshin, and if you are wanting to play Genshin, maybe it gives you a better perspective as to how this gacha system works with this game. Comment below how you feel about Genshin and how it's affected you in any sort of way, whether it's for the good or the bad. If you like what you see, give us a like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. And thank you so much, y'all. Hope y'all have a great rest of your day or night. Bye-bye.